very difficult thing, the nature of your own mind. Like as much this dynamic I'm trying to describe here, that you have this sort of ego mind, rational mind. People think it's all woo woo or whatever. It's like whatever. This is just some theory. It's not actually how it works in practice. But in practice, I think this is probably the most fundamental reality of humanity, is that we have a propensity towards delusion. Like we almost always aren't telling ourselves the truth. Now that's an unbelievably difficult statement to get your head around, but think about it. And they've even done experiments, for example, where they will test all these different, bots in the computer simulation, and one bot will be about figuring out reality of the matrix that the is in, and the other one will just be about surviving till the next generation. The one that wins is always the one that survives. The one that's looking for the truth almost never survives. And so we've been through similar evolutionary problem. And so for some reason, we think that we are able to just grasp the truth and the truth will bring us forward. But it's almost always been the case that survival trumps truth, and moving forward trumps truth. And that's an unbelievably difficult thing for us to understand, because that means that the part of us that thinks we're noble, truthful, moral and all that is actually fundamentally not in touch with reality. It just seems to be that way, and that's such a hard thing for people to really accept.
I'm trying to grip this myself, because my standpoint would be that the truth is what would bring you sort of the best in life. It's what's going to get you the most forward in life. If and I would say part of the truth would be accepting fact. Like when you're able to accept fact, you're able to sort of walk through hard times. But you're saying that that's against survival.
You said Christianity. I think the story of Jesus could be read in a sense of he's saying that if you want to tell the truth, you're probably going to quote unquote lose. You're going to die and not get it. It's not going to work out for you. And it's this sort of question of, do you want to live a lie and win, or do you want to die with your soul intact? And that's an extremely hard question, because it's all well and good to pay lip service to this, but then say you show up in a situation where you have a family and they could starve, and you've been offered a job, but the job involves you, say they tell you, for example, we're in the coronavirus, so say you're in the military or you're in the police and something like that, and then they turn around to you and they say, right, I want you to I want you to round up all the people, and I want you to stick them in camps. And you're kind of like, why? And it's for quarantine. It's I don't think people are that sick. And it's just do it and don't ask questions. And then you start to hear really strange stuff about these camps going on. And then you're sitting there and it's all right, if I don't do this, my family and me are going to get fucked. If I do this, I'm pretty much, I could be, I'm like the guy who's putting people into a gulag. And so that's a very, very difficult question, because it's all to sort of talk about this stuff. But imagine someone actually going through that. I almost guaranteed that 95% of people would crack and just be send them to the camps. It's not my problem. It's no big deal.
Yeah. And I suppose
really fast.
And that is very, very true. Fundamentally, that is true. I suppose maybe the one distinction I'd draw would be from the Christian perspective is you'll lose in this life, but it's the eternal life that you gain afterwards. I suppose that's a reward. This life isn't even worth that. I guess that would sort of be that perspective there. So it's trust in the truth, it will prevail. And I suppose the idea as well is that slowly the lies begin to unwind. And I don't know, in a way you can almost see that in society a little bit, the way how the media is starting to get called out upon itself. People are starting to see through the lies that get portrayed through the media. And it's almost at the end of the day, it's the truth is there, and it takes an absolute beating, but it still is there. And it stands tall.
I don't think I don't think that's incorrect. I think the truth does shine out in the long run. But what I've noticed is that in order for the truth to win, it's often at the expense of incomprehensibly large amounts of suffering, so much so. And then you have to ask, this is the question for someone from someone like Nietzsche, is how valuable is quote unquote the truth? How valuable are these things? If you ask, a lot of people are into stuff like the awakening and all that and all this, and it's well, what, awakening to what? Awakening, are we saying that the government's evil or something like that? Is that what we're all awakening to? And what does that mean? Are we going to replace the government with our noble version of government? How do you know that our noble version of government won't be just as evil as well? And then this is where it all starts to fall apart. We don't even know what the truth is. And we're in this mad pursuit